Have you ever wondered about how serious God is about truly keeping his promises to us? That's what we're going to discuss today. And we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel to do that because there's some interesting things that are said there that might give you some hope today. So if you're ready, we're going to dive right into your daily dose of growth. In the book of Ezekiel, we read the prophet talking about his experience with God and how the Lord brought him to this valley of dry bones. And in this valley of dry bones, the Lord had him walk around and he showed him the immense valley that was there filled with all these bones. And Ezekiel wasn't exactly sure what he was doing there, what God was trying to show him. But as he walked and listened to the Lord began to ask him certain questions. He began to ask him, Ezekiel, can these dry bones live? And Ezekiel was like, I have no idea. Only you know if these dry bones can live. And he continued to talk with Ezekiel about these dry bones. And finally, he began to tell Ezekiel, this is what I want you to do. I want you to prophesy and talk to these bones. And I want you to say these specific things, and these bones will live. And so as we read this beautiful, miraculous story about all these bones getting matched back up to their correct parts and, tendons and flesh and all this coming back onto them and then finally standing up as a great army, well, we're looking and we're saying, well, God, what does this have to do with any of us? Well, there is a beautiful passage as you continue reading this in Ezekiel. There is a beautiful passage where that the children of Israel have said this. They said that we are basically doomed. Our bones are dried up. Our hope is gone. We are drained. We are doomed. And the whole point of this exercise in the valley of dry bones is so that God could remind Israel that if I have to bring you out of your grave, I will keep my promise to you. And this is such a powerful thing. God is saying to Israel, if you do not see my promises come true in your lifetime, if I have to dig you out of your grave, if I have to bring you back to life, I am going to make sure that my faithfulness and my promises are fulfilled and known to you. Now, this is a huge illustration to tell us these things, but what it does for us today is it shows us how serious God is about keeping his promises and being faithful to us. God is so serious in this that he says, even if I have to bring you back out of your grave, I am going to keep my promise. I am going to keep my word to you so that you will know that I am faithful. Today, you may be struggling and have these issues in life where you feel like things are not going right and you're just believing God's promises. You're standing on his word. You're standing in faith and standing in prayer, wondering, will I ever see God move in my life? Will I ever see his faithfulness in my lifetime? The valley of dry bones reminds us that God is so serious about showing you his faithfulness. He is so serious about keeping his promises that he says, even if I have to bring you out of the grave, I am going to make sure that you know that I am faithful to you and that I keep my promises. So the valley of dry bones is a promise of God that my faithfulness is not in question, that there are things in your life that go haywire, there are obstacles that happen, there are things that have to be worked out, but God's promise to you is that today, if you will continue to trust in him, continue to have faith in him, if he has to resurrect you himself, that his promises are true and they will come true and you will see his faithfulness in your life. That is the reason that we see Jesus in the book of John saying, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. You see, as a Christian, God has already resurrected you out of your place of sin, out of your grave of sin. He has already resurrected you and kept a great promise to give you access to the kingdom of God, to make you a son and a daughter, an heir of God with Jesus Christ. And so that promise of resurrection has already taken place in your heart. But there are other places in your life that God will resurrect if you will continue to be faithful, continue to seek Him, continue to grow in His Word. Hope you enjoyed this word of grace today. More to come. You guys stay prayed up, full of grace, and allowing God to work in your life daily.